6 o'clock here on your Monday. Jason and Alicia with you. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. It was beautiful outside. Got a chance to get outside and barbecue yesterday.
It was so nice. We were at Boom Island Park at the playground, Ben. So many people taking advantage of the gift from Mother Nature.
Yeah, my wife was trying to convince me to get the patio furniture on the deck already. It's like, hold your horses. It's March 3rd. Let's relax a little bit. And yes, cooler temperatures are in the forecast. And look at this. Radar is showing some snow, but just a heads up, most of this is not even reaching the ground. So the snow is forming about 4,000 or 5,000 feet up in the atmosphere, then evaporating before it reaches the ground. Still, you might see a couple of flurries this morning, but nothing that's going to impact your morning commute. Current temperature is 36 degrees, and temperatures today will be about 20 to 30 degrees cooler than yesterday afternoon. Less up and down as far as our temperatures go this week, so less of the weather whiplash that we saw last week, but we should stay relatively mild and overall relatively quiet. Let's get a look at the roads this morning with Cece. Good morning.
Good morning and happy Monday. So overall, the metro is looking really great, but within the past 3 to 5 minutes, a crash did pop up on 35W southbound right near Arden Hills area. So I'm going to pull that up on a traffic cam here now and bring that up soon when I see you next. And just to track that, it does look like it's slowing some things down. So I'll have that for you in a few. Alicia.
Cece, thank you. 6:02 is your time, and we are live this morning outside of Ameriprise headquarters in Minneapolis, where right now, as you can see, janitors with the union SEIU Local 26 are on the picket line, kicking off a 3-day strike. It's definitely crowded there. The strike involves thousands of janitorial workers in the Twin Cities who are calling for a new contract. It comes days after a different set of janitors from the same union reached tentative deals along with 2,000 security workers. The janitors striking today work at offices around the metro and at MSP Airport. They're expected to picket at more than 100 buildings across the metro. Union leaders say pay is the biggest sticking point. Coming up tonight at 5, they'll gather for a rally to mark the first day of the strike.
And speaking of strikes, 1 week from today, St. Paul Public School teachers will strike if their union and the district can't reach a deal. And in a few hours, both sides will head back into mediation. That's after they spent nearly 40 hours with mediators over the weekend hoping to settle a contract. The district is one of about 130 in the state that still hasn't negotiated a new contract since they expired last summer, making it the slowest pace of settlements in 2 decades. That's despite historic education funding Governor Walz approved last legislative session.
Teachers are, this isn't very creative, but a fundamental part of our community, and it seems like we have the resources in the state of Minnesota to do it. And then it would take all of the uncertainty away from the parents.
The district says the two sides made, quote, meaningful progress during weekend negotiations. In a statement, the district says it's committed to avoiding a strike, while the union says despite all these negotiations, there's still not a clear path to settling.
Another big story we're tracking this morning, the fire danger across much of Minnesota is very high again. And this morning, that includes the Twin Cities. The
DNR says fires can start easily and spread pretty fast. And we saw that yesterday. In the past 24 hours, the U.S. Wildfire Activity Maps shows we've had 8 new wildfires in the state. We've learned this morning that includes several small ones burning just outside of the metro. And the much bigger one in Waseca, south of Minneapolis, that fire spread pretty quickly due to high winds and warm temps. Michelle is live with the latest on that fire and new information from the DNR. Michelle.
Hey, good morning to you guys. The danger is not over this morning as we still got those dry conditions, plus clearly no snow cover for us. Take a look at this video. The powerful impact yesterday in Waseca, ravaging more than 1,000 acres, according to state officials. In the last 9 hours, we learned the fire is under control, and getting there took aircraft dumping water from above, plus multiple agencies responding from the ground. The sheriff's office says it all started yesterday afternoon as a small brush fire that rekindled from a prior burn day.
Just worried, never know, wind switch. The way the wind is and how dry conditions are, fires can spread pretty quickly, so keep an eye on everything just in case we had to get out of here.
So take a look at the latest warnings from the DNR. For today, the DNR says no open burning across the metro. And while we wait on today's fire danger update, as of yesterday, you can see that orange across the southern half of the state. That's very high risk of fires. And, Ben and I spoke earlier this morning about all this, and he helped put this into context for me. He says the fire danger isn't as high today or as risky today as it was yesterday. Jason, Alicia.
Yeah, that is good to hear. Got to be careful out there. All right, Michelle, thank you very much. And we're learning this morning that a wildfire in northwestern Minnesota near Fergus Falls may have been much larger than we thought. According to the U.S. Wildfire Activity Map, that fire may have burned 2,300 acres. The Fergus Falls Fire Department told us within the past 12 hours the fire is under control, but some areas are still smoldering. And the department said the DNR and U.S. Fish and Wildlife fire responders were still on scene.
Right now, police are looking for the person who shot a Ramsey County deputy during a car chase on Friday. He was hit by bullet shrapnel that came through the dash. It happened in St. Paul's Dayton's Bluff neighborhood. Police say a dark-colored sedan was driving recklessly, and when they tried to stop them, they took off. Shortly after, a Ramsey County deputy spotted the car and a chase began. That's when authorities say a passenger leaned out of the window and shot back at the squad car with a rifle. Authorities did find the car, which is now being processed for evidence. The deputy was not hurt. The BCA is investigating a deadly traffic stop in St. Michael from 48 hours ago. According to the Wright County Sheriff's Office, the driver got out of their vehicle with a weapon and refused to obey the officer's commands. A confrontation followed, and the deputy shot the suspect. Deputies and paramedics tried to save the driver, but they died at the scene.
We woke up to the sound of gunshots. I don't know, we think maybe 4, but again, hard to tell. And so we got up and we started seeing a bunch of emergency vehicles, the sheriffs, first responders come in, just a lot of activity early in the morning.
The deputy who fired his gun is on standard administrative leave.
In the last 30 minutes, a new opioid outpatient clinic opened its doors in Roseville. Community Medical Services say they are opening in a location where the need is great. The center offers same-day walk-ins and immediate access to medication-assisted treatment with 3 FDA-approved medications. That is happening today. The Minneapolis City Council meeting today, one of their big issues on their agenda moving forward, homelessness and the handling of encampments.
I'm Kaya Edwards in downtown Minneapolis. City Council members are sharing new plans to address unsheltered homelessness following a Thursday afternoon fire at an encampment that left 2 people hurt. They say 3 ordinances will be proposed in the coming months. First, establishing a permit system for nonprofits seeking to use outdoor areas as temporary encampments, establishing a humane policy for the city's response to encampments, and requiring evictions to be documented to show how much taxpayer money was spent.
In just over 24 hours, Minnesota voters will head to the polls for Super Tuesday. On the Republican side, former President Donald Trump is going into tomorrow with 2 more wins under his belt, defeating Nikki Haley in the Idaho and Missouri caucuses. North Dakota holds its Republican caucus today. Meanwhile, Haley took home her first primary win in Washington, D.C. As for the Democratic ballots, there will be 11 options, including President Biden, Minnesota Representative Dean Phillips, and an uncommitted choice to protest Biden's handling of the war in the Middle East. And if you do plan to vote, most polls across the state open at 7 a.m. tomorrow and close at 8 p.m. And if you still want to vote early, today's your last day. The polls will close at 5 o'clock tonight. Minnesota is one of more than a dozen states holding primaries tomorrow, with more than 2,200 delegates up for grabs.
Tonight marks the end of a pretty disappointing ice fishing season for Minnesotans. If you did put up an ice house, though, time to remove it. DNR says anglers in the southern 2/3 of the state have until midnight tonight to remove their fish houses. Also, make sure you take your trash with you. Got to clean up after yourself. If you have one in the northern third of the state, you have until March 18th to remove it.